Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 17th of December 2013. So in today's news, well, it's really just the weekend's news, I guess. There wasn't a crazy amount of stuff, but we do have some good things to talk about. Again, the reason there was no videos at the weekend and stuff like that is just because I was busy with work, but as you know, I am, I'm sort of back with a bit more free time, and, well, I think I'm back home in my proper setup on Saturday, so once that happens, then we can start really pumping out the great stuff. But it will be sort of business as usual up until then. Anyway, today's news, we have the new Blizzard game. What could that be? Well, there's a team assigned to it. We don't know what the thing is yet. Then there's 5.4.2 hotfixes, some really great stuff there. Some talk about PvP tweets, a little bit of stuff, and then I'll say a word about Winter's Veil just because it's a thing that's happening. So first of all, there's a new game coming. So, why? What? New game? Do we know anything? Nope. We know there's a team, and that really is it. Now, in regards to that team itself, we do know some things about it. Basically, they said that with Hearthstone, they kind of wanted to revive their tradition of the company having smaller teams that are making very high quality products over like a decent bit of time, instead of just the kind of usual put a giant monolithic humongous team behind a thing like it is with Warcraft, StarCraft and Diablo. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that the game's probably going to be a little bit more refined in the vision of just a few people. Like, if the team is maybe 10 to 20 people, then like each member of that team has got quite a lot of creative input. And honestly, you can do a hell of a lot with 20 people when it comes to games. Okay, maybe there won't be the kind of, well, hell, even like I've seen games made with a team size similar to that, plus a few contractors that really have looked fantastic on many fronts and have surprised me. But still, just like take a look at Hearthstone, just how polished and sort of clearly refined that game's design is. I think that this is a really fantastic move. And if you don't know, things like Diablo and the old school Blizzard titles, which really set them up for where they are today, they were built by small teams. So I think it's actually a great business move because these small team games are they're low risk in comparison to what the main things are. They can always have a few different teams chugging away, working on new, interesting, more innovative and risky titles. And I say more innovative and risky because, well, it's for these big companies, they are big companies, I guess, and they have a responsibility to their staff and their shareholders to be successful, which means that sometimes it's definitely a bit of a risk-adverse model. Now, at least Blizzard do try, like, they do a better job. Maybe it's not clear, like, innovating and stuff like that, but they make sure that every product is very polished, refined, and I suppose it's funny, I guess in comparison to how polished some games these days are, the amount of polish they have in their games is nearly innovating in itself, which is a really unfortunate state for the games industry to be in. I'm, of course, not very happy with the way the industry is at the minute in terms of AAAs. I think indies are really where it's at in a lot of regards. But Blizzard are definitely one of those companies where I still have a lot of faith in what they do. And, yeah, it just seems like this is great. Now, what sort of game could it be? Well, I mean, we've already got the card game covered, okay? So, could it be mobile? Well, I haven't seen any specific information pertaining to mobile, but it's certainly not absurd that it could also come out on mobile. And then that just really leaves us with so many genres. I mean, I don't think they're going to be doing Rock and Roll Racing 2 or Blackthorn 2 or anything like that, going way, way back to the original Blizzard titles. But, it's hard, you know, they could just do so much. It could be perhaps an offshoot of one of the current franchises, however, I don't really know if that's the best way. Like, I suppose Hearthstone is an offshoot of Warcraft, I guess. Yeah, actually, that might work well, sort of aping off a lot of the creative stuff of some of the other titles and then making its own little kind of unique spin on it, like what Hearthstone's doing. So that would be good. In terms of business model and stuff like that, I'd say there's a good chance they'll be going down free-to-play, especially because Hearthstone seems to have done quite well. And a lot of people do say Hearthstone is pay-to-win. That's more just an inherent thing with the fact it's a collectible card game. Now, the point at which I would personally go out and say that it's pay-to-win is if you were actually able to purchase specific cards bespoke. Now, I know you can buy a bunch of packs and then refine all those cards down and then build cards with the enchanting or the disenchanting system. But if people were to actually do that, it would cost absolutely ridiculous, absurd amounts of money. You can get a free pack of cards every day via normal play, sort of. Well, nearly every day. You can get 100 gold on your own, but then it's got the quest system, where you can get, I think it's anywhere from 40 to 100 gold a day. So they do a pretty good job, and honestly, if you're doing Arena and actually, instead of, you know, just buying a pack, you're actually spending the 150 gold on an Arena, you're getting a lot of time, like just playtime out of that. And with Arena, you're getting a card, and if you do decently, then you're going to be getting more than your 150 gold's worth. Oh, also, I should probably mention, the main thing that sparked off the talk about this new unannounced game is that there is a job listing for, is it game director? No, lead producer, that's it. And the game, I think it's, yes, the game director is Michael Booth, who was actually from Left 4 Dead and Counter-Strike, so definitely got a good pedigree behind him. Both shooting games, interestingly enough, but I don't really think that means that we're going to be doing a shooting game for this. I just don't think that really makes sense with the overall Blizzard thing. I bet there's going to be that one guy who thinks this is StarCraft Ghosts. No, that's probably not going to happen. But hey, I'm all up for StarCraft Ghosts coming out and actually being good, unlike what the original probably would have ended up being, which was bad. Anyway, patch 5.4.2 is a thing, and we have some hotfixes for it. First of all, this pertains to the Cross-Realm Raid Finder. The actual item level requirements have been tweaked a little bit. So if you want to be doing, well, not Raid Finder, the group finder thingy. Basically, if you hit O, go to raids and go to more info or something like that, then this pane appears. It's the thing which allows you to group up with people from other realms to do raids. I've talked about it plenty of times before. Now they've made it so that the Veil of Eternal Sorrows has got a minimum item level requirement of 510. The Gates of Retribution requires 517. The Underhold requires 524. Downfall requires 531. So I suppose that all makes sense based on how difficult the content is. And it's, yeah, I mean, I guess it's nice that there is, first of all, this is only a finder tool, like, just for finding actual people, then you contact the people and try to get them in. This isn't a matchmaking thing, so while they are putting these level requirements here, that's just to list someone, so you can still get in via a friend if you don't have that item level. I think this makes complete sense, honestly, and the reason for that is just because if people are listing themselves up, you want at least a base assurance that they're not going to be absolutely ridiculously awful in terms of gear, and this is just fair to group leaders, and it means that there's going to be more successful groups, which is always a good thing. Also, they have deactivated meta gems, legendary meta gems, that is, in PvP. I think you probably still get the actual enchantments, but the ridiculous spell effects don't go off. So there's that. And then finally, they said that Flex will use the rated randomization system rather than breakpoints, so that there is no ideal number in Flex. That was actually, apparently, according to a tweet that I saw also, this was unlocked just before the weekend, but nobody really noticed it, which I suppose means the system is working as intended. It's just sitting there in the background, making sure the breakpoints don't happen. Just in case you don't know what these are, basically, sometimes in, say, Malkorog, where he spawns the 2 void zones if you have 10 people, and then maybe you move up to 14 people, and he will spawn 3 void zones, but if you're at 13 people, he would still only spawn the 2. Well, the way this works is that instead of it being like that, where you're best to go in with 13 rather than 14, or whatever the number may be, you could start off at, say, in 10%, there's a 100%, or 10 people, there's a 100% chance of 2 void zones. Maybe if you move up to 12 people, there is a 80% chance of 2 and a 20% chance of 3. Basically, this just means that mathematically, there should be quite a smooth overall difficulty curve, depending, well, not smooth actually, it would just be a flat. There's no difficulty curve, it's really just the same at all difficulties, which is the best way to do things. Now let's move on to some tweets. So first of all, they said that multi-dotting will still be a thing in Warlords of Draenor, and it's part of the style of some specs. I think this is fair enough. Multi-dotting is, I think it's probably kind of fun and satisfying to some people. You know, you stick your thing on a whole bunch of different mobs, and you get results. That's fair enough, right? So Celestian gave the example of mages being less of a dotter in Warlords of Draenor. Now I know Pyro does have its fair share of damage over time mechanics, so perhaps they're turning this down a bit. I wasn't really sure what to take out of what he said, but yeah, I mean, certainly it makes sense. I've never really played a full-on multi-dotter. I mean, I have a level 27 Warlock, but I don't think that counts, and I don't... Do I even have a Priest? No, I need to level up a Priest sometime. That's another thing, like, I do plan on having near max level of every character at some point, but I only have 3 at the minute. I just think that, like, as a WoW YouTuber, I kind of... especially not just a WoW YouTuber, like as somebody who's covering the news and covering all these different classes, I really should try to be playing more and more and more of all these different classes so that I can give more insight to more people, hopefully, but Oh, that said, it's going to take a very long time, isn't it? Anyway, next they said, this is also Celestian, he said the multi-strike doesn't hit multiple targets, and all it means is that the damage component of a spell will hit a second time at 30% damage. As for that 30%, I'm not exactly sure if that's final or not. Obviously, everything is not final, because it's all going off BlizzCon and just after BlizzCon information. Which, well, it's all placeholder. I mean, if you look at those level 100 talents, I think the video of that has got about 20,000 views or something near that at the minute. They're probably all different now. I mean, maybe some of the core ideals behind the changes they made and the things they're adding. The core ideals are still there, but numbers, tweaks, specific effects, things like that are not going to stay the same. Now, next up, it's Winter's Veil, and personally, I couldn't give a shit because I just time. Maybe I'll have the opportunity to do some of it this year. Actually, I'm just in-game at the minute. I'm not really doing anything, but let's see. Do I have any achievements for Winter's Veil? Oh, okay. Apparently, I've nearly finished. I've got He Knows When You Be Naughty Scrooge with a helper from my friends. The Winter Veil Gourmet. I nearly said Gourmet. Holy shit. I am from Northern Ireland. Yeah, more just saying the letters, not thinking of the words. A Frosty Shake for La 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 Ogrilla. That's a really bad play in words. It's really forced, Blizzard. That's not funny. 'Tis the Season, Simply Abominable, and Ometson. Because of all the achievements, you need to get the one based in Metson. Yeah, maybe I will. Okay, right. There's an achievement called the Danger Zone, so I'm going to have to do that one. Yeah, I probably will get the Winter's Veil stuff going on. Actually, I only need Let It Snow and one other before I get the meta, so that's nice. Yeah, Winter's Veil. I guess it's fun enough. Blizzard, I think, have. They've been squandering world events. Look at what Guild Wars 2 are doing, and look what some of these other games are doing for the world events. And okay, maybe they do less world events, but they're cool. Like I think the main Guild Wars 2 thing they did for Christmas, it was this like giant jumping puzzle. I saw Force SC2. Of course, he doesn't actually do SC2, but yeah, I saw Force's video on it, and you know what? It looked like a little bit of fun, and it didn't look massively hard to develop. That said, they are just battening down the hatches in Warlords of Draenor. That's exactly what they should be doing. But still, I think making these events more of a thing would definitely be nice. And here is actually one of the main reasons why I think they should do that. This is an MMO. Not only is it your regular MMO, but it is a monthly subscription MMO. And let's just look at the calendar here. Get some rough dates. Don't worry, I'll be bringing this into a point. So, in January, we have Winter's Veil and Lunar's Festival. In February, we have Love is in the Air. We don't have anything in March, but in April, we have Noble Garden and Children's Week. In May, we have the end of Children's Week. In June, we have the Fire Festival. And then I think things do quiet down. We've got like the Lunar Festival, Harvest Festival, stuff like that. And then we're into Hallows End in October. November is like Day of the Dead, the end of Hallows End, Pilgrim's Bounty. Now, what have you realized there? Well, mostly there is a new world event every month or two. So if Blizzard could, I'd say even if every second world event would get an update every year, which would mean that every 2 years, like after 2 years, every world event would be updated. If they would keep on doing that and actually making significant things that are different in terms of gameplay, that would be very healthy for the game. It's a monthly monthly subscription MMO. If there is new things there every month, people will come and play it. That makes sense. Blizzard want more money, and we want more content, so it's it's a very good symbiotic relationship. And I think if this is what they want to do, then getting more world events would be a nice thing. I'm not really too sure how they would make some of them more interesting, but do you really normally correlate jumping puzzles and, well, fuck it, Christmas? Look, I'm in Northern Ireland, I'm not in the PC crazy America where we call it the holidays. Even though I'm not a Christian, but whatever, hey. Everyone calls it Christmas here. That's just the thing. Right, so do you correlate Christmas with jumping puzzles? Well, I mean, unless you have a really, really interesting, like, I know, Christmas party at work or something, then most of us don't. Yet Guild Wars 2 managed to pull off something really cool using that. Blizzard, you can do the same. So there you go. Give us more interesting content. Give us more bloody, give us more world events, because they're fun. Hell, I remember the first time I did Brewfest. I really feckin' enjoyed it. Okay, part of that was the whole aesthetic, and hey, beer's cool, right? So that was part of why I enjoyed it. But, yeah, more shit like that's going to keep me coming back to the game. It's going to keep all of us coming back to the game. And that has been enough, well, my usual, I suppose, daily 15 minutes of disjointed rambling. So with that, thank you for watching. If you want to support the show, then please check out the Amazon links in the description. So, yeah, that's really all my stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.